So she said to her family and her husband that she didn't feel like she was gonna make it through that surgery, and she said that's when she told him, "I want my ashes scattered on the mountain."
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough.
Let's go, guys! Here's some targets. The capture is on! Bad guys knocking on our doors. Let's flush them out. Yeah! Got one! We lost another one!
This thing. Hello? How was it? Was he happy
I
today?
got you. The base is under attack. I'm on the point. Capture going live.
Wow. How was that?
Come out, come out.
Oh. What did you say?
Good work, ladies. Keep it up.
Right. Wow. So how? Who went? Did you go alone? Are you serious? God. Well, just be careful, man. Oh, good. Yeah, that's it. That's that. So, I don't know why I called you.
Let's get them all and just end this.
Oh,
Was it about the Bible?
that's my name. That's my middle name now. Confused.
They're everywhere.
So what's the latest on your daughter?
My dog.
So is Kevin moving in with her to that place? Well, he keeps saying he's done, but he keeps being back with her.
What up? Whoever is watching, what up?
Are you serious?
Drop a comment, leave a like, and subscribe.
Oh, so he hauled ass. Sure.
I have to be quiet, my old lady's on the phone. Leave a comment, drop a like, and subscribe. What up, whoever's watching?
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, that's not cool. Unreal. You left late, Tony. You're gonna be getting home real late. And then you're all by yourself, man? They didn't feed you?
No, because I got there like at 5:30,
I'm
and
not seeing them, are you?
they had got to one of her friends' graduation party. So by the time they ate there,
I'll show you that.
so
Well, that's tough. You didn't get to eat over there? Hello? Oh,
Focus.
I don't know why
Guns
it's so
out.
low.
That's right.
Hello? Oh, okay.
The enemy is
Yeah,
right
we're
ahead.
going on an SD tomorrow for interior. Hopefully we get it. And we have these women that work down in the houses. We went over today. And when you talk to them, guess what?
And this,
They want the
kids, is how I met your mother.
Got it on Monday to Orlando to demo with the wife. So we're just doing the demos now. I don't know. And then Debbie, who wrote up the estimate for her laundry room,
You killed him.
they want that done. We got a computer to get all those cabinets that extra out. Actually, she bought that flooring, babe. She kept 2 boxes. Man, that's why I said we needed to go over there and store it. Anyway. So, I was just hoping to go through. Right now, the only time right now I see is white. Everybody else is like, okay, well, let's see. I just see one big chunk of money stuck in my head. A what?
The capture is on.
What the heck? What the heck? You should have freaking took a picture. Yeah. With the coochie. She said there's a road called with the coochie.
With the Lacucci, yeah.
Oh, Alan knows it. Alan knows it. She said, what? How do you pronounce it?
With the Lacucci.
With the Lacucci. With the Lacucci. Dude, that's crazy. She started laughing. She said, with the coochie.
Coochie coochie coo.
Who's with the coochie? That's funny. Oh my god. Ay, ay, ay. Have you heard from Johnny? I have to call Johnny, see if he's alright. Yeah, I'll call him too on Father's Day. It's Father's Day tomorrow, babe! And he's like, I don't care.
Just another day.
It's another day. Bah humbug. No. No. Lily's like, you didn't tell me it was Father's Day. I'm like, what am I, the reminder?
How they gonna put Father's Day right after Juneteenth Day?
Ew, they killed it. You heard this June 10th? What is it called?
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. For black people.
That doesn't even sound. It's not even proper English, really. It's
Oh, you know Macy Gray, the singer?
It's Ebonics.
She wants to change the American flag. She wants to put the star colors, all the colors of the skin, and instead of the white, put cream.
There's a whole bunch of them around here.
Tony said she could do it and wipe her ass with it. It's true. Who is she? Like, where did you come out from? You called out that rock, that old ass rock. Yeah. So I put a face, I put a gif. Well, what's his that actor's name is? The black guy? Big black guy that plays on The Voice, not The Voice, Terry, what's his name?
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews is his name? The tall big guy. Not
sure.
Tyler Perry.
White guy, black guy?
No, it's a black guy, babe. The tall, big black guy. And he's the host for where Simon Cowell. He's the black host. The
Right.
funny guy, the funny big black guy. I had his face on there, like, what the? I put my gif on there. Nah, but it's crazy. Unbelievable. They're like trying to do everything. Wait, Al was like, what did you say, babe? About you? What we were talking about? Is your name on there?
Are you talking about George Floyd's?
Oh yes, and they made a statue of George Floyd. They put it in Jersey. Somewhere in Jersey,
yeah.
a big statue of him sitting on a bench. And I put a meme on that too. I said, oh, what the F? I said, with a face on there, like what in the heck? Why? So I was like, well, damn. Did they realize that, he was a drug addict, he had drugs in his system, that he had a prior, and all this stuff? And he was like, wow, maybe I could put a bronze statue of myself too.
Yeah, I said, why come I didn't get a statue?
Why should I get that statue? What the heck?
I was a criminal. They pushed me down hard on the ground and put their knee in my back.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Did you take it off of the online?
No.
Why?
Because people need to hear this.
All conversations?
People need to hear this.
No, it's private.
It's the truth.
Anyway. Oh my God! Put your high beams on. Let's be careful. Parts of 50 are bad, right, babe?
Highway 50?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
She
Yeah.
decided to take that instead of the highway. She's on the other side of like Clearwater. It's coming back home to Deltona.
Oh.
And she's on 50.
And
She
she's
said,
on 50?
okay, I don't like this part. It's all dark and
Yeah.
no light.
Yeah, till you get to Orlando, it's like that. Claremont, I think. You'll get to Claremont and stuff.
You end up in Claremont eventually. He said, but it's dark all the way till you get to the city.
Until you get to Claremont.
Till you get to Claremont. Just pray. Yeah, so. Nah, those are the things that I heard. I was like, we seen them today. I was like, what is this world coming to, man? Like, this is getting out of control, man.
Capturing the base. Cover me.
And then Ant tells us, oh, a guy's going up to $5 a gallon. I said, don't you even say that because we just got 2 gas customers. And she was like, oh, that's what it's supposed to be. And I'm like, I said, I hope not. I hope that's not the truth. $5 a gallon. I don't know what she read that. It's starting to go down a little bit in some areas here. Not by much. But I don't know what she's getting that from the Trump. What's that? The Trumpist?
Yeah, I believe so.
No, that feed that they have out. That new feed. I don't remember. But Benjamin's leaving Colorado. Yeah, but and I was like, he's like, oh, I was thinking about bringing my staff. And I'm like, Ben, they're not going to let you on with a staff. And I was like, they'll confiscate it and you'll lose it. And he was like, yeah, I know. He said, unless I put it in a special bag and tag the bag. I said, even though, I said, you're still risking it. You know? I said, who's going to bring it back home for you? They're going to throw it away. I said, you better just go into the woods where there's 520 of woods, get a stick and carve it out. I said, you'll have your walking stick. And I told him, don't be going, I said, you better go to all the touristy areas because if you guys go off the beaten track and start going in the woods in Colorado, I said, you guys don't need to be getting lost. I said, you guys are done, dude. And then the wildlife out there is no joke. I told him, I said, you better watch Alone. You ever watched Alone on TV? It's called, yeah, it's called Alone. What they do, it's not scripted or anything like that. Are you still with me? Because you kind of broke up a little bit. You're going in and out. She's in a dead zone.
You on regular phone or messenger?
No, I'm gonna call her on regular phone. I don't know why she does that. She's scared. I can hear it in her voice. Because she's by herself. She left too late.
Where was she?
At Eileen's daughter's graduation.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Hello?
Yeah, let's do this one. You put me on Messenger. Messenger is weak. So, what was I saying? Oh, I told him, yeah, don't go up the beaten path. I said, because,
It's time to pay
you know,
my freaking
oh, that
car
Alone
blood.
thing, that's what I was telling you, that Alone, it's not scripted or anything like that. What they do is they scout for participants because this is like really brutal. They'll drop 10 people off in Canada. Sometimes they do Alaska. And, well, this time it's 10 people make it to 100 days and then win $1 million. Well, you get to pick 10 items of your choice to go with. And then they send you with cameras, videos, batteries, GoPro, whatever. They have like different types of cameras. And when you sit at one that you can take pictures with you, then they give you a emergency box and stuff like that. And then they give you a locator, and then they give you a phone, a satellite phone. And they literally drop you off. Boom, one here, one there, and it's like everybody's like 50 miles away from each other.
We're losing
They
people.
drop in the water, some are dropped somewhere else. So now what happens is you gotta survive 3 months or 100 days. And you have to deal, what they did is they dropped them off in October. So October, November, December. And you're in Canada, where the lakes are and stuff like that. It's absolutely below 20 degrees, 30 degrees, it gets like bitter. So these people, there's women and men, and they have to make it to the end. And it's so gripping, like through the whole thing. It's like, because they show how they basically survive as far as they have to make their shelter as soon as they get there. They gotta start getting food. They lay their traps. They do this or they do that. It's literally, they're documenting everything that they do. How they skin, how they make, they do all kinds of things. Well, anyway, yeah, but all these people are highly experienced. They're all highly experienced, and the elements sometimes, like for instance, one lady, she made it towards the end. This was the last top 4. She had frostbite on her toes, and she was like, I think I can make it. I can keep cleaning up. I won't stay out there long. And she kept doing that for a while. Then she said, "Oh man, it looks like it's going underneath my toenail. That's not good." And she's showing it in the camera. It's freaking gross. And next thing you know, she gets a call. She's like, "Uh-oh, that can't be good." So they call and they said, "Hey, we're coming to give you a med check." And she's like, "Oh no, I'm worried. I'm almost to the end," and blah blah blah. Sure enough, the doctors came. Doctors come and they give her a full assessment. And I think she lost 32 pounds, 33 pounds. And her toe, they said that all her toes on her left foot and her right foot were frosted. They pulled her out. And she was so upset. She was as if it wasn't for my toe. This is because my will is still strong. And this is that. She was upset. And I don't blame her, man. Almost at the end. She almost, if they didn't pull her out when she did, she would have lost her toe. So, and they don't want to be liable and stuff, but even though they sign clauses, they have to sign clauses and stuff like that, but still, they don't want them to lose a body part. So, anyway, the winner, he was my favorite. I was like, yes, he won.
I called him off rip.
He lives in Alaska. He's a tour guide for Alaska.
No sleeping. Enemy on the base.
He has dealt with the frozen tundra and whatever. And he also lives in the northern part of Alaska where there's nobody for 100, 200 miles away from him. You have to fly in and out. Yeah, so he knew, he knows. And he got freaking lucky, man. There was a muskox? A muskox was chilling on a hill, and he had his bow. He ended up, one of his choices was to bring a bow and arrows. So, and you can't kill coyotes, you can't kill bears, and you can't kill foxes, wolves. You can't kill any of that because it's part of the rules. That's because it's preservation. They're preserved. Now, unless they come in attacking you and it's caught in camera, because you have a camera everywhere you go, then you have a legitimate reason to defend yourself. But he was chilling on the mountain, and that sucker got him. Boop! And he got him in a main artery. So he started following around for hours, and finally the thing collapsed. Well, no, he didn't collapse, sorry. He was still hobbling around really slow. So he says, well, we have to do this by hand. He literally, it was on camera, he jumped down with his knife and snapped him, stabbed him, and he jumped away. He jumped back in, stabbed him, jumped back away. I was like, it's crazy. But he got it. He got the dang thing, and he's also, what he has under his belt, he's a professional skinner. He worked for a factory. So he was set. He was like...
The dude was in his element.
Yeah, he was in his element, pretty much.
He could have stayed out there still.
Yeah, he could have stayed out there. So he said, and there's massive bears around there. So he was like, the coyotes, the wolverines out there, they're literally all hunting for food like him because winter's coming. So they're all scavenging. And so he's like, oh my God. So he starts skinning it. He skins it, takes the guts out. He's like, I'm going to eat every part of this muskox. All the way down to the balls. Sure enough, Tony, so he took everything and then he cut it up and he had to leave it there. He only took a little bit back the skin. And he covered the skin, the coat of the thing, he covered it. And then put stuff on it so because he had to come back. He was about 2 miles from his camp. 2 miles. Now, muskox is heavy as heck, okay? So he had to go and travel all the way to Kansas. And the morning came, he went all the way back, found out there was tracks of bears all around his food. So they were trying to find away. Anyway, he ended up bringing and making tracks back and forth. It took him all day. I think it took him 2 days to finally get all the meat back. And the leg was the size of me. One of the legs. And yeah, and all that was burning energy. He burned energy, he was great, his muscles started getting, you know, messed up in the head, and he was like, oh my god. So he started eating those, man, he had the legs, he had all the good parts. Yeah, dude, he was loving it. He had meat for a long time. And then, but see, muskox, which we learned a lot, what he needs is fat. So, his side of the river, his side of the lake didn't get frozen. He was dying for it to freeze so he could get out there and do ice fishing to get fish for fat. So, and he kept losing weight. I think he lost 50 pounds. Yeah, so, anyway, long story short, he found squirrels. Squirrels love mushrooms up there. And they had a whole cache of mushrooms that he ended up getting that. He ate the lips of this muskox, the nose, the ears, that's that. He cooked it all up. He didn't let all of them eat all that crap. I was like, oh, hell no. But I guess when you're starving, it tastes like awesome, but whatever. Yeah, one of the contestants left early because his shelter went on fire because they have to have the fire inside the shelter. You have to build it just right so it has a little chimney and goes up. And in between all your wood, all the logs, they put moss and dead grass, and they put it all in to cover the seams. You know? So it's really, I mean, I love that stuff. This thing is like, I watch all the episodes, but at the end, he was talking, and he was like, you know, I really regret, he said, right before I came here, he's like, my mom died. And he said, and we always really didn't see eye to eye. He was like, but I loved her, and I know, you know, I was hard to handle as a child. He was like, my dad at a very young age showed him how to skin animals and be a survivor at like 6 years old. So he ended up getting that bug in him, and as soon as he turned like 13, 14, that's when he left. And he went to be a mountaineer. Like, he went out into the wilderness and lived off the land all his life. And this was like the amazing story of this man, but he said, I regret not being in my family's life. My dad, my mom, and my sisters. He was like, you know, I should have done better. He was like, I should have, because you have a lot of time out there. You're alone, and you're reflecting, thinking, you know, and he felt so bad, and like, he's like, this is for my mom. He was like, Mom, I love you, and he was talking to her and stuff like that. And at the end, you see, they don't know who wins until the crew comes in. And so, he was chilling in his shelter, right? And his sister got dropped off. They take him. And she's following the path to tell her where to go. And she goes and she's like, Baba! Now he hasn't heard nothing for 100 days. No, nothing. And he's like, Sissy! And he comes running out and they hug each other and she said, you did it! You did it! It was like so emotional, like for everybody. Yeah, he was skinny as hell. He looked like crap, but they did it. They interviewed them too, like afterwards. And one of the guys, he ended up getting what happened to him? He got poisoned. He ended up coming back with a heart problem, infection in his heart, around his heart, and something else. Because something happened in him, and he was like, oh my god, I gotta go home. He's like, I can't do it no more, I'm in pain. And like, he was starting to get lethargic because his blood was getting poisoned. And he made it out just in time, and he said, if I didn't go home, I would have been dead. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a good show. It's a good show. And then I finished the episode, right? And I'm like, oh man. You know, when you finish a series on Netflix, you're like, hey man, now what am I gonna watch, right? So I'm flipping through and I'm like, oh, look at this one. It says, what was it? We win what? One,
Win the wilderness.
win the wilderness. And I'm like, what the heck is this, right? So I'm looking at it, and it's in Alaska, again, up in the mountain, up in the, you gotta have a plane to get there. And it's this old couple, okay, 78-year-old man. And the woman was a little younger than him, so she must have been like 72, something like that. This man's famous. You can look him up. His name is Ossie. Ossie?
OC.
Ossie.
OSE.
OSE. And where he's at, okay, I gotta tell you about him real quick. Load out. They are an old couple. This man owned a cement factory in Minnesota. And he ended up wanting to be a mountaineer, like, you know, go survivalist, whatever.
Live off the grid.
And live off the grid.
And it was the very end of homesteading.
And it was the very end of homesteading, where you could just go to the land and claim it. In Alaska, yeah, that was back in the day. Boy, if I knew that and I was a little older, whatever. Anyway, but so he went. He tracked 57 miles by himself through Alaskan wilderness. All by himself, 57 miles. So he comes to this clearing, and he took footage of everything. It was in 1987 this happened. He had the old camera. He took footage of him walking through, and when he got to his destination, he was like, this is where I want to be. He looked up, and he seen a bridge, like a mountain. And he said, I want my house there. And he said, and right next door is where his plane is going to go, where his plane could land, so he could come and go. Sure enough, that sucker, you know what he did? He ended up traveling back and forth for years, back and forth from Minnesota to Alaska, Minnesota to Alaska, and he found a woman. And he ended up saying, hey, you want to come do this with me? And you want to get married? And they were like, yeah, okay. They got married, whatever. So she ended up helping him, and ended up at a homestead. They made a little homestead, a little shack, okay, in the middle of Alaska, with everything they needed. For 9 years they lived in it. 9 years while they were building their big house out of wood from the forest. So what they would do is cut it down, cut a piece of wood down. She would shave this piece of bark off. 2,000 logs she shaved. Plus helped him haul the wood, bring the wood, get him all his tools, running around with the goat piece guys. And they built it. It's really nice. And they built a greenhouse, they built a garden, so they were self-sufficient. There's no running water, no electricity. And they lived that way, okay? Now fast forward, boom! Now this is all documented on video. Everything, them doing everything. It was awesome because they show it in between, like the real footage. And so next thing you know, okay, they decide, hey, let's do this show. You know, let's bring it to the United States. If they want to pick it up, and the United States is like, yeah, we'll pick up this reality show. We can do this, do that. They wanted to script it, and they said, nope, we're not going to do it. We don't want it scripted. We want to do it our way.
Good job, lad.
So who picked it up was the UK. The UK picked up the show because it was under their terms. They weren't going to twist it. They weren't going to script it. It was going to be raw. So they did it. They picked. Now this is a husband and wife. They picked. I want to say 8 couples, something like that. Okay, and they knew what it was about, and what ended up having was a competition. Who can survive in the wilderness? So they went to testings and all this stuff, and it dwindled down. Long story short, a 50 was 48 years old and he was 54 that won it. A married couple, and it was really sad because when he gave the keys, the old man gave the keys to them, and they went through some testing. Like they had to go in the wilderness and go in a tent. They had to make a fire. They had to learn how to skin. They had to learn to build stuff on the property, to separate each other, because sometimes you're gone for 6 months, your significant other has to go out into the mainland, and you're there by yourself as a woman. So they separated the couples. One went 100 miles away. So they went through some tests, you know. So they weeded all the weak ones out, you know. And so anyway, so they when the old man Mindy go, he handed him the keys, he was crying, you know, and
Yeah.
he was the last one for the homestead. When they closed it, he was the last one that made it. So he's popular for that. You get me? So he was the last one before the whole closed, and he was the last one to get a homestead. So anyway.
One of the last ones.
One of the last ones. So anyway, right. So he goes with the woman on the four-wheeler. You know, the old man's on the four-wheeler with the old lady, and they're driving the property, and they're just kind of, you know, looking around and reminiscing, and he pulled a little flower for her and handed it to her, and he was like, and they both start crying. I was crying for them. I'm like, oh my God, after all those years they lived there, they blood, sweat, and tears. I'm like, what are they doing? But because their health was failing and they needed to get to the mainland, and they couldn't do it anymore. They couldn't take care of the property, so they wanted somebody to continue their legacy.
Good shooting,
Yeah,
lad.
so which is
Keep it
pretty
up.
cool. So they left, and the thing ended, and I'm like, yo, man, this is sad. And I was kind of like, what happened to the old people, right? So I'm over here, you know me, I'm getting on my Google. I'm like, what happened to the Osage Mountain people? You know, the old man and the old woman. Like, sure enough, boom, popped up, bam. I'm like, yo, what happened? So I started reading it, and it said this. You're gonna trap yourself. Because I was telling you, you don't even know. Okay, so they ended up in Minnesota. That's where his original stomping ground was, where his company was. And they got a little place out there, and started living out there. And come to find out that they got paid over $1 million for their house through the UK the TV network. They had that house on the market for a while. Nobody wanted it because you have to have money for a plane back and forth. And so nobody wanted to buy it. So when they came and presented the offer, they said, you go buy the house, and you act like you're giving it away, and you know, blah blah blah. That's how that was. Okay, so now, yeah, this is so anyway. So she got sick, and she had to go into surgery, heart surgery. And she said, you know, I really don't feel like I'm gonna make it. She said, you have to, you know, my ass is scattered in the mountain. Sure enough, she goes into surgery, she died. And it was sad. I was like, oh no, they died. I was like, what happened? Like, she looked healthier than him. Okay? So like, so anyway, so now he got devastated. Now his daughter told him the story of what exactly happened. Like, she told the newspaper everything. Like, this was all in the newspaper. And I was like, wow, this is crazy stuff. And so he was upset. He was, you know, he lost his lifetime partner, you know, blah blah blah. And so he was an avid Facebook user. Okay, being that old, and he was on Facebook all the time. Okay, so this lady hits him up. Hey, how you doing? You want to meet up? You want to hang out? Blah blah blah. This lady he's 78 now. His homestead died. You should try to go get your thing, because what they did was wrong. They connived you and this. And he's like, yeah, man, you know, I think I should try it. So I guess he tried it. And he went to go, he said, well, I can take my wife's ashes and go up there, you know. So what he did, he tried to get his homestead back. So the people there must have said, no, you know, we'll get our attorneys involved, whatever happened, and they denied him his homestead back. Okay, so he was like, well, when he did that, they told the pilot on the main land that nobody's allowed, him or his wife or his new wife, is allowed back on the Osage property. Because they tried to get it back. So they're like, no, you trying to take something back that it was fairly given.
Yeah, you sold it.
And you sold to us, and that's, whatever. It didn't sell it. It gave it to them. It was all in contract. So they banded him. So now he has his wife's ashes, and he's upset now. He can get his wife's ashes to the mountain. And so he tried, apparently, they said his original pilot, which he was on the show too, as soon as the show was over, he left out west. There was a new pilot, and the new pilot was told back to have nobody come back. Okay? So now he's sitting there, like, all upset, and she's like, well, let's go back to Alaska. So apparently, they tried to come back and started hiking back in the woods in Alaska, trying to get on foot back, I think, to his homestead. Well, apparently he fell, broke his back and his shoulder. They had to be airlifted out of the Alaska. Okay. Oh, shit. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is not over yet. Oh my. Okay. Now, so they left and back to the homeland. So I guess he got better, for a while. And then they said, oh, she said, why don't you get all your stuff and get it out of the Minnesota place and, get stuff. So apparently he went there, got all his stuff out of the Minnesota place, packed his car as much as he could, drove it to his brother's house, and left it there. Well, they haven't heard from him since. So then all of a sudden, his daughter gets a video and a letter, and he was in communication with her, and she was like, oh my God, he's okay. Well, apparently the video showed that he was really frail and really sickly looking, even worse than before. Okay? So, hey Tony, I can't believe this poor old man. So now,
She got him hooked on crack.
Back for his stuff till this day. Apparently the investigation shows that she has a prior for fraud and all that. So she is Yep. So this man who had worked so hard, I mean, Tony, you see this place that everything was done by hand.
It is pretty amazing.
On this property, and they had everything documented. He also was in the midst of trying to write a book in his old age, también, and that didn't stop. I don't know what that lady, I think, slowly killing him, or he died, and she just didn't report it to the family, and did it because she's the wife. She did what she did, got the money, and she's living luxury. That's what I think. Isn't that crazy? That's not only that, it's the lust, her greed and his lust. Come on, you worked too hard in your life to have some bimbo, Right.
Not for nothing did you see his wife.
What'd you say, Alan?
I said not for nothing that come on, you see his wife.
Oh, well, Alan, that's...
You were riding her the whole time you were watching it.
Oh, she was mean.
You lesbian.
Yes, she did. She looked like when he met her, all the videos going on for cigarette. Oh, all the videos of her is she butch. She was butch. And I said, Alan, she's gay. Like, she's totally gay. It maybe at first it was a partnership, then they fell into love. I don't know. It's crazy. No, I mean the original wife. The original wife. The one that worked. I think they loved each other because they were broken hearted. He was broken hearted. And he went crazy. And he was like, oh, blonde hair, blue eyed girl, young girl. Oh, yeah, give me some. She was feíta también, ella no, ella era un tiny little skinny thing. Nope. But you can look on it. If you look, it's look it up on Netflix and watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. I know, but it's crazy. It's just crazy. I was like, oh my god. And I won't get crying in my tears for the thing. I said they didn't even give the lady like at the end of the movie like in memory of. They didn't even tell us that. They kept everything hush hush. Oh. Yeah, because I tried to find the dad and he's famous. He's famous. He's known in Alaska. No? Anyway. Did you get to Claremont yet? Oh, good. So then you're almost home. We're what, a half hour, 40 minutes? Faster. Yeah. Oh yeah. And so is Maldora. Oh yeah, it's a whole new world down there. It's actually really beautiful. Maldora is becoming gorgeous, yeah. And the land is still somewhat cheap over there too, I think. Yep. But as far as he was the only one that didn't put his bow and arrow?
No, he had a bow.
Oh, he had a bow. Yeah, he had a bow.
He's the one that shot the fox.